House as the Ravens drop it to the Pittsburgh Steelers 23-16. I don't know where rock bottom is. That remains to be seen. On the backside of the bye, Luke Jones joins us now. In the aftermath of this 23-16 loss, and you know, Luke, we're going to go through all of this, right? We got 2 weeks to tear this one apart. They don't even play next week. As to the offense and the defense and the injuries and the play calling and where the middle of the defense, you know, all of that. But I find it interesting that in the aftermath of this, it's Harbaugh who the fans are yelling for, the media has outlined, and certainly the tenor of the locker room on Sunday afternoon was every player got questioned about John Harbaugh's job security. Dude, I've been around a long time. I've never been in a locker room like that. That's a new one for me after all these years.
Well, I mean, you lose 4 out of 5 after a 3-1 start. You've missed the playoffs 3 years in a row and 4 of the last 5. Is it really that surprising that that's the chatter? Now, we can debate and talk about any merit, any thought to it being a real possibility that John Harbaugh is let go over the next couple of days, but the conversation's fair. I mean, Steve Bisciotti several months ago admitted he considered firing John Harbaugh at the end of last season. So when you're 4-5 and you've lost 3 in a row, and that Sunday night win at Heinz Field feels like an eternity ago, and Super Bowl 47 feels even longer than an eternity, whatever that might be. Of course it's going to come out. It's awkward. I think one thing that I would have said, at least up until the last couple of weeks, and I don't know how much injuries play a part, I don't know how much fatigue plays a part, and how much of it is they're just not good enough, and they've played some good teams the last few weeks, but I've always said, even through some of their struggles, even their 2015 season, I thought the Ravens always played hard for John Harbaugh. And if what we've seen the last couple of weeks constitutes playing hard, then they're just not good enough, or they're banged up, or they're tired, or whatever the case, it hasn't been good enough. And it really hasn't been all that close to being good enough, other than the New Orleans game, where, okay, they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Since then, they've gotten their tails kicked. And I think you look at Sunday's game, even though you look at the final score and say, well, it was a 7-point ball game, did it ever really feel that close? No, I don't think it did. I think Pittsburgh felt like the better team over the course of a full 60 minutes, maybe save for a few little pockets here and there. So, I don't know. I mean, it really comes down to, we've been down this road how many times now over the last 5 years, and it doesn't feel like it's getting better. It feels stale, and the overwhelming theme is it hasn't been good enough. And now the Ravens go into the bye at 4-5. 4th straight season they've been below 500 at the bye week.
And that's not good enough. That's literally, it is what it is. It's not good enough at this point. And 3 weeks ago, it looked like it could be good enough, which I think is the real frustration here, right? The frustration is we're a little shocked. You and I are a little shocked, I think, knowing each other and talking about this on the air, off the air, that it kind of unraveled this quickly, that there might not be a December for this franchise. That shocks me as to where I thought they were in July, in August, in September, and most of October, quite frankly.
Well, it comes down to this. I think you look at the first month of the season and what happened. They blow out the Buffalo Bills. We knew at the time the Bills weren't any good. And I know they've figured out a way to win a couple games, but again, level of competition. You say, hey, even if it's a bad team, you don't blow out many teams in the NFL. So that looked good. Thursday night game at Cincinnati, okay. I mean, they lost. The Bengals have had their number for a number of years. Short week, road team. We know how that typically works around the NFL. So, again, nothing that's a major red flag there. Come home, take care of business against Denver. I think it's proven that the Broncos aren't a very good football team. So, not really sure what you take away from that other than the fact that it's a win. But they go to Pittsburgh, and understanding the Steelers were scuffling in the first month of the season, the Le'Veon Bell drama, all that. And the Ravens take care of business. And that was the game that made you think, okay, this is their biggest road win, probably since their playoff win in Pittsburgh in the 2014 postseason. And you're thinking that's going to be the springboard. That's going to propel them from this 8-8 purgatory that they've been in, give or take a win or loss. And they're going to get back to being in the divisional race, and who knows, maybe better than that. I mean, at that point, they're 3-1, and you're thinking, hey, the first month of the season's over. You're on pace to go 12-4, and everything's right there for them. But I think since then, we've really seen a much different story, starting with the loss in Cleveland, which that one has aged terribly. I mean, at the time, you thought, okay, maybe the Browns are better, and we see how that's gone. And all right, the Tennessee Titans, you had 11 sacks. That was a great individual defensive performance. But what's happened since then? And there are so many different things to talk about, but